I feel like if you know how to do it, if you have a feeling that you could solve something, then you better do it. Otherwise, this universe is going to take it away from you.
How did your parents risk their lives for you and your brother?
Well, they're from Vietnam. So 1975 was communism. And so my background is that, my family's background, we were rich people, like crazy rich Asians. You saw the movie? We were like that in Vietnam. And within that conversion in 1975, everyone went to zero. And so my parents had told me that it was like a 50-50 or even 60-40 chance of dying to get us into a different country. So we traveled by the boat, right? And pirates and plundering and, murders happen while I'm in the stomach of my mom. And so, so their goal was to ensure that we were secured, my brother and I. And that they felt at the time there was no hope in Vietnam. And so they did everything they can. They said they would rather die, all of us dying, than to suffer in Vietnam in feeling that we were going to be imprisoned.
And so you traveled to the U.S. and you landed where?
So I was born in Thailand. So we went to Thailand and then and then 6 months later I came to America. But during that time, my mom had post-traumatic stress and even developed a slight schizophrenia. And then later on, the people took us into a foster care. So I was with foster care. My second parents were Irish and Italian. And that's where I learned how to play the piano. I learned American culture through that. I learned a lot of type of stuff. And so that was my upbringing. And then my parents so think about this. We came from going into the country with no money, going into a family that had a lot of money, and then about 2 years later, go back to a family back into the ghetto, only to survive again, learn how to survive. And we went from being, my foster parents are very loving people, right? And then going back to home in Jersey City, and it was really, really bad back there. It's one of the worst cities in America. It's my parents were working 12-hour days, so I don't even get to see my parents at all. That's my life. That's my brother and I upbringing.
How long were you, I guess, was it called a ward of the court, or you were with these foster parents?
Yeah, they were foster until my mom got better. They had to show proof that my mom had to have the papers saying that she's good. As long as she's on the pills, which she's still on today. She has to be on pills so she suppresses her anger on things.
So you were there a year, 6 months? Or?
Oh, for my foster parents? Mm-hmm. I was there for about almost 2 years.
2 years, wow,
yeah,
okay.
Without my parents, yeah.
And then once they were in Jersey City, then you went back to live with them, and now you're getting acclimated to New Jersey life?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, yeah. I mean, my brother has a worse story because he experienced racism, right? And his story was, he would get chased by the white folks when he was in the privileged neighborhood, and then he comes over here, he gets minorities. Everyone is a minority in Jersey City, but we're all racist to each other. Sure. And that was but that like in high school when it was a fight every day, a stabbing once a week, and a shooting once a month. No news, no media. That's the norm. And that's the school I went to. So let's just put it in perspective.
And so was there a time where you were in high school where you said, I don't want to stay here? I want to leave?
I didn't know there was another life. The most I've seen was TV. You know what I'm saying? Like I never went into, the most I went is going to New York City and Jersey life. And then that life in foster care was so like a blur to me that I don't remember because I was just a baby when I was back there. And so I thought that my life was going to be that, always living in danger all the time.
How often do you think about those early stages in your life, and then what feelings are attached to those memories?
I think about it every day. I got 2 kids, and I think of how privileged they are, and I think it's the thing that fuels me. I still work 12 to 14 hours a day, Why? It's because of those memories. It's being able to have, it's my parents. I think about my parents giving us the shot at life, and for some reason I received all these gifts, abilities and capabilities that I have in my pinky than most people. I do know that, technologically, business-wise, music and everything else. And I feel like it was not given to me by an accident. It was given to me for a reason. And I feel like I put a lot of weight on my shoulder to go ahead and try to make the most out of it. And I always feel this way. I feel like if you know how to do it, if you have a feeling that you could solve something, then you better do it. Otherwise, this universe is going to take it away from you.
And your brother is where?
My brother is, he lives in Jersey, in central Jersey. And he's a software developer, but nothing like me at all, 0. He's a programmer. like no sports. He's not into sports, not into music, not into films, nothing like that. But he's very supportive. He's a protective brother. Yeah.
What would you say is the best thing, or some of the best things that came from humble beginnings?
Understanding how to build something from scratch, from nothing. I think that is a gift. I think that you get perspective around not judging people, no matter where they come from. You try not to judge them, at least, or you consider, if you think something wrong, you might think something else around, like, okay, there's a reason why they stole something at the store. It doesn't mean that they're bad people. They're just able to survive. So I think of it that way. I look at it as, career speaking wise for me, I look at it as it's because I came from nothing, I was forced to solve problems from, take, I guess, it's, you could give me anything and I'm able to figure out how to solve it. And that's what it was. Like, it's like kind of like your, it's, I don't know, I would say, like, any problems, we had so many problems and so many adversity in life that money was not the answer because we didn't have any. So you figure out how to solve it. And you figure out how to do it efficiently, you figure out how to do it with other people, collaboratively with people. And then you figure out how to do it again. And I feel like how that affected me for today was, it's how I created 4 feature films, built 3 businesses at the moment, and be able to survive through it and be able to come out something that's almost what people would consider almost impossible to see through.
So it made you resourceful.
Oh, 100% makes it resourceful, yeah.
You think you weren't as afraid of risk?
I'm always afraid of risk. Always afraid of risk. I'm more afraid of disappointment from the risk. I think just naturally, I don't want my parents just being disappointed in me. I don't want my friends disappointed in me. I think that it's this, unlike someone like Gary Vee or someone would say, who cares what people think about you? I'm the complete opposite, where I care what the people that love me think about me. And because they work so hard to get me to a place to have certain opportunities. And I was to kind of squander that, then it's almost selfish of me that I look out for them. That's how I kind of look at it. Even though they might not be thinking that, but my mind always goes to that for some reason. And it keeps me fired up.